Songs and Stories with Steve Roby. All about artists on Hawaii. Learn about the music and backstory on Songs and Stories.
Aloha and welcome to the Songs and Stories podcast. On today's show, my special guest is singer, songwriter, musician, Ydine. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
It's nice to hear your voice again. I think we first met at Ydine Fest. I did a quick hit and run interview with you backstage then. I think you just finished a set. I got a little info from you, and I think you were just working on your album Belly of the Whale then.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it had just come off the press.
Right. I think I got an advanced copy.
Yep, you did.
And then I think you were one of the three guests we had on the Songs and Stories short-lived TV show of the Songs and Stories, which now has developed into the podcast.
Oh, great. Did you ever, are you using that song we recorded about it?
I am on a couple of shows there, and a few people have sent me in new theme songs.
Oh, cool.
Some of the rock variety, some of the reggae variety. And so I'm I don't know if I should have a contest of which one should start out the show. And if you'd like to contribute a theme song, feel free to do so.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, let's get started with your music background. And how did you get started with music? What inspired you?
My dad really wanted me to play when I was young and he tried to send me to piano lessons. We had guitars laying around the house, and I could not be forced to touch an instrument. I refused. I hated it. I rallied against piano lessons, and he was just so sad because he never had that opportunity growing up. And then somehow when I turned 27, I realized that I really wanted to be able to play the guitar so that I could sing with myself. And started to play the guitar at 27 and then ended up on a sailing trip for a year with a friend who knew how to play music and knew the circle of fifths. And he was a bass player, so he really kind of taught me the ropes on the theory aspects. Started playing guitar then, and then piano. I was probably about 35 when I started picking up piano, so it's not advised, but it is possible.
It's good to know a couple of instruments, right?
Yeah. Different languages that you can then overlay on each other and learn just between the languages.
Mm-hmm. Was there a certain moment or a certain musician that inspired you to hey, I want to become a musician,
Nope. It was more like I was finally finding myself. I feel like I had spent so many years kind of either doing what others expected of me or just not really being in touch with what I really wanted in my life. Part of that might have been from my religious upbringing. I feel like it doesn't really encourage girls and women to really listen to themselves. And so, and then I just wanted to weed all of that out in my 20s. I just kind of realized how programmed we are by all of that. Yeah, just started following kind of my own joy.
Good for you. Sometimes it takes a while for us to fully bloom and discover our passions.
It does.
Yeah. Well,
and once I discovered it, I still can't believe how much I love it.
We are too. We love your music.
Thanks.
Well, let's talk about your songwriting process. Do you like to write solo or collaborate with others?
I like to do either. Most of my writing has been solo. I have actually just started collaborating with a couple of my roommates on a song, which has been an awesome process. It's kind of a new idea that we came up with that we kind of trade lines back and forth. And then we go into these raps and we both just do completely different raps, but then come together on a couple of the lines within the rap. So it's this interesting movement.
Is that a new genre that you're exploring?
I do kind of flow here and there in my album and just in life. That's one of the things that have popped up that I turned out to be pretty good at in music, and so been following that too.
Yeah, good. Well, one of the tracks you sent in for us to discuss today is from your most recent album called Belly of the Whale. Can you first describe the album and then tell me about the track Yes, I?
Belly of the Whale is my debut album. It was recorded in Hilo at a studio that I set up that we still have. It's such a beautiful studio. I'm so grateful for it. So I had everything set up, the studio, I knew the music, the musicians, everything. And then I didn't know who I was going to have produce the album. And right in that wondering moment, my friend from Oahu, who's a producer, told me that he was moving to Big Island for a few months and wanted to help me with a project if I was working on anything. And his name is David Pritchard. And so we ended up recording the whole album together. And there's about 20 musicians on it. And the music ranges from reggae to folk to rock to a little bit of Latin, which is the song that we'll listen to, called Yes, I.
What's the backstory on Yes, I?
Well, actually, it's cute that we just talked about kind of deciding to play music, and that I had finally decided to follow my joy, and really figure out what that was. And Yes, I is a song about coming from a place of kind of frozenness in life, and not necessarily frozen. I was doing things, but it wasn't from the center of my enjoyment, and that's how I live now. Is I find the things that I love, I find the things that I enjoy, and I just follow them, and they always lead me to good things. So Yes, I, my initials are Yes, Ydine Elena Sandberg. Yes, I is a kind of a story about deciding to go in the direction of the things that I loved and be powerful and brave about it, and how important that is spiritually on this planet for all of us to do.
Yes. Well, let's give Yes, I a listen to here on Songs and Stories.
All right.
Yes, I climb to the tops of the trees, and I surf on the ripples of the stormy seas. And when I dance, I surrender to the flow. I feel the rhythm pumping through. I let it go, go, go. I let it go more and more. Tune into the moment that surrounds me. Get deeper into what there astounds me. Follow on the trail, hitch on the rail, fly in the sky. In my mind, I said, oh, I fly in the sky. In my mind, I said, God wisdom in my soul so old, embodying the earth mother, I'm told, and she whispers to me everywhere that I go. She says, daughter, I love you, my daughter, I love you, cause you're bold. So body like you see, acceptance and mediocrity, I will give you everything you need. Go forth and plant my seed. Go forth and plant my seed, word and deed. Go forth, go first. When I say go, I mean go forth. Though I say forth, I mean go first. When I say first, well, I mean we are the ones who shine the light into the darkness, shining like the sun. We are the ones who go forth, go first, go people thirsty, thirst to give you everything you need. Go forth in word and deed. Go forth, go first. The life of the land, perpetuated by the righteous man. The life of the land, perpetuated by outrageous hands. The life of the land, perpetuated by the righteous. And we need to raise up our children in the way that they should go.
Okay, we're back on the phone with Ydine. Did I get the name right? It always throws me. Ydine.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's actually Ydine.
Ydine.
And the sound.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that kind of throws me in. I had to write down phonetically how you pronounce it. Ydine.
Yeah, it's very it's a difficult one. It kind of goes in one ear and out the other. You're like, what did you say? But how about this? In my adulthood, I have found that my name is a chord structure. E, D, and A.
Wow.
Ydine.
That's almost like someone telling you that you had to get into music, huh?
Yeah. My dad named me, and I told him, and I told you he was trying to really get me into music, right? And so I told him that, and he was just blown away. He's like, I didn't even realize it, but it's true. So I can play my name on the piano.
Wow. On a more serious note, everyone's been impacted by the pandemic this year. How has it affected your music plans?
Definitely has calmed down. Luckily, I overdosed on music recording the album, and I was kind of taking a planned break anyway. So that was nice for me, a little retirement of music, just to, sometimes things get overwhelming no matter what it is that we do that we love. And playing music, it's a lot of work. Setting up gigs, getting to the gig, bringing all your gear, getting all of your musicians there, being on time, playing the gig, practicing for it. There's a lot. So it has been nice to have a little break. Some of my roommates that ended up living with me are some of my favorite musicians. And so we have been still playing and singing and writing together.
Oh, that's good.
And we still have the studio. So my band has been practicing a little bit, which has been nice because we don't have a gig that we're practicing for. Usually it's like we get together and we're trying to go through the list of songs to get them right for the show. But since we don't have a show, we've been exploring a lot more and doing a lot more jam band type of music. Within that, I've been playing my didgeridoo with the band, and I've been playing didgeridoo for years. And trying to play didgeridoo for years.
That looks like a difficult instrument to play.
Yeah, I'm really just starting to get the hang of the circular breathing and the rhythm and the sounds and just keeping that drone going.
Did you have plans to play Einafest this year?
Well, I have played every year since the first one.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, if they have it, which I don't know if they would.
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't seen an official cancellation, but I assume since a lot of the large festivals this year have just, no Merry Monarch Festival or Kona Coffee Festival. I think this year's just a wash,
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking for the people who are involved in all that and for all of us because music is such a deep part of our joy on this planet.
Yes. Well, you recently participated in a kind of a unique venture that the Hilo Palace Theater is currently doing called Live from an Empty Palace. It's a video series. Can you explain what that experience was like?
Sure, that was a great experience. So the palace in town, the theater in town, decided that because they were empty, they were going to try something different to get music out there and to be able to use their stage in an interesting way. So they started a video series. A couple of my friends are part of it, and Drew Daniels encouraged me to play the piano because they have a piano there and play a specific song. So I was a little nervous because it was my first time playing piano live. Usually I'll play guitar or my band will play and I'll sing. So I just practiced and practiced and practiced.
I watched the video the other day. It looked great. I mean, it was shot wonderful. You sounded great. And you were backed up by two other musicians.
Yeah. Kelly Kahele Hyde, she's one of my best friends. And we've been just best friend musicians for probably almost a decade now, which is amazing to see the way that musical relationships can grow. That's one of my favorite things because the more you get to know each other, the more you understand what each other is going to do. And you can just do so many cool things together. And then Ethan Jones plays the bass, the upright bass. So yeah, I was really nervous about the song. We started playing, which that's actually what the song is called that we played is The Song. And so we started playing it and it was going well. And we got about halfway through and I realized that, oh my God, we got halfway through. And then from that point on, I was so nervous, but it all came out well and nice. And we got it on the first take.
All right.
And those final notes, oh my gosh, I was sweating.
Wow. Like you couldn't tell though.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we dressed up fancy. We pulled out all the stops for that one.
I sat in on one of those tapings Friday a couple of weeks ago. The way they have the stage actually turned around, so what would be the audience is behind you, but it's all empty seats, which is, kind of breaks the rules of what you're supposed to do on stage, I think.
It's definitely a different feeling, but I think for all of us, it gave me something to do, something to work towards musically. Mm-hmm. I really was just every night, just, okay, get these fingers moving. I think playing an instrument is one thing, but then when you try to put something together with it, such as like if you're playing an instrument and singing, it's a whole different level of concentration and focus, So when we were recording the album, I just had to do the piano part, which I had just kind of gotten the hang of at that point. So yeah, music is always upping the bar for me in a fun way.
That's good. Well, let's play another track, actually the title track off of Belly of the Whale. Tell me about this one.
This is probably my most storied song. There's different levels of story in this song. So it's called Belly of the Whale, and that's from a Bible story about Jonah, who was told by God to go and tell the people that the way that they were living was not going to work and was unsustainable in the long run. And he went, but he got scared, and he went on a different boat that went in a different direction. And the crew, it turned into a huge storm, and I guess the crew knew that it was kind of unnatural. And so they cast lots, which is like rolling dice kind of, to see who on the boat was responsible. And it showed that Jonah was responsible. And so they threw him into the sea, which is interesting, these casting lots and things. In the Bible, it's like, oh, okay. So they threw him in the sea. He was swallowed by a whale, and he was in that whale for 3 days. And during that 3 days, he had a change of heart and realized what his purpose was spit out by the great fish onto the shore. And he did go and he told the people, and they repented and started to live in a different way. So that's kind of one of the base stories of the song. There's another level about my own mother who took her life about a decade ago. And it's part of just the pain that I could tell that she was feeling, and a lot of the pain that I think the mothers feel on this planet. We've been through thousands and thousands of years of subjugation of women. I'm glad that we're starting to come out of it, but I do still feel the effects of that, and how it affects women around the world. So that is the next level of the song, and then the third level is the health of our planet overall, and how our Mother Earth is suffering because of the way that we live, and we are suffering because of that. And I feel like right now we are in the moment of being in the belly of the whale, where we're realizing it, and we're coming to grips with that reality, and we're coming to grips with our responsibility of how we need to live mindfully in a way that is positive for all of us.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that deep, detailed story about the song there. I'll have to listen a little more intently when we play it here. In fact, here's the title track off of Belly of the Whale on Songs and Stories.
I'm diving down further, deep, deep down still. I see the weeds, dive to find the roots. Clean up my sacred garden so I can offer sacred fruits. And sacred fruits come through in the form of ancient truth. Sacred fruits come through in the form of ancient truth. My body talking, telling of the wounds, a mother's pain I carry from the line of ancient wombs. Working hard, cracking, calloused, fingers fingers to the bone to build us up a house, make the house a home, mother. Disregarded the things she got was slim. She gave all that she had, and then she gave again. And take we did ever sucking selfish at the spout. Never realized that the mono of the mother could run out. And I died. Brought in, we're leaving them with unprecedented blood on the hands of water, toxic, no way to wash it off. The Ydine tire, the womb is drying up, and I dive, and I dive, and I dive, and I dive down. Oh, I dive, yes I dive, oh I dive, oh I dive down in the belly of the whale. Shift, the consciousness is in. A conscious shift, the consciousness is a conscious shift, the consciousness is in. Love and respect your neighbor, I not learn to quietly sit with yourself. Discover inner peace and inner wealth, and pass it on to all you come upon. We will live long, long. We will live we will tread lightly on the mother we come from. We will tread lightly for the future generations. We're in the belly of the whale, the whale, the whale, the whale, the whale, the whale. We're in the belly of the whale, the whale, the whale, the whale, the whale, the whale. We're in the belly of the whale. We're in the belly of the
This is Bub Pratt, curator at Cuckoo Owl Studio in Hilo, home of the Sunday night open mic and the Monday night jazz jam. You're listening to Songs and Stories with my friend Steve Roby.
And I'm back on the phone with Ydine. That is such an interesting song, and I love the way you described the different layers of the meaning of the song for you. Do you want to talk about some of the musicians on the track? Go from there?
Yeah, I would love to. Hilo is such a musical town, and being able to record in the middle of Hilo, our studios at the Kaikoto building, which is right downtown. A lot of my musician friends came through and added parts to the album. So there's about 20 musicians on the album, and they just came in all at the perfect time. So in Belly of the Whale, you'll hear some whale sound, which actually are a cello.
Wow.
That my friend Casey Kwan played. He came down to play a different part in on the album, a completely different song, and saw the album cover and said, "Oh, I can play whale songs on the cello." And so at that point, I had been searching for whale sounds to put onto that track. And he just went through and one time and just played with the track and played it so beautifully. And I'm so grateful for those sounds and for whale song in general. The more I look into whale song, the more I just love those creatures. What special songs they sing.
And the cover art is really unique too. I wish this were an album size. I could really see it on my wall at home. It's just beautiful. Who did that?
Our friend Charlotte Ledger. She lives in Hilo, and I saw that about 7 years ago. I saw that picture. One of my friends had it hanging, and then when I went to make an album, I knew that was the one that the cover that I would love to have. And she said that she was so excited about it too. So Ryan Lewis from Hilo reworked her art a little bit, put a rainbow in there. And
yeah, that's nice.
Starry Night, and yeah, so we all had so much fun collaborating with that. Actually, in Yes I, you heard some kind of Spanish guitar in that track. And my friend Tyson, who plays Spanish guitar, came through the exact week that we were recording that, and he comes through maybe once every 3 years or something. And so just the magic of everything coming together and how gracefully it all did and how much fun we all had creating the album really just will live in my heart for life.
It's a beautifully sonic album. I think I told you before, on the CD, it just sounds amazing. And you really did a unique job, kind of, I guess it's old school now, of a lyric sheet inside the jacket. And then you can see photos of all the musicians on the inside cover, a shot of the studio, it looks like here. And then a shot of you on the back cover, looks like in concert. Yeah,
we took some time really putting together the whole album. That was a really fun part for me. I think it was mostly nostalgia that drove me in that area, just because I remember being, 14 and 15 and getting these new albums and just poring over the lyric sheet and wanting to know all the words and the stories and see the pictures of who was a part of it. Yeah. And so it was a lot of nostalgia because I know that's kind of, we're getting away from kind of the physical aspect of music, which I also love because then it's much less wasteful. It's like a wasteless industry.
And everything seems to be more single oriented today. Bands are finding, I guess, more success with just churning out singles than a full album that has a theme or a concept.
Yep, I totally went with my nostalgia and was
good for you.
Wanting to put out a full album with all the art and the lyrics.
Are there any plans to do a follow-up probably next year maybe or something?
There's not definite plans. I think if I did something, it would be something much more simple, maybe just more acoustic based. Maybe just piano, just guitar. And I would love to, I'm really loving exploring kind of the jam aspect of a band.
Yeah.
So maybe some jam band ideas.
I hope you follow that path.
Thanks.
Yeah. What's the best way for folks to find your music and follow you on social media?
Well, my music is out there in all of the ways that music is out there these days through Bandcamp, Spotify, Amazon, Apple. You can find me anywhere there. And my name is spelled Ydine. Looks like Ydine. It's Ydine. Yeah, if you type my name in it'll pop up. So that was a nice thing about my name too, that I
Yeah,
don't think
it's
my
unique,
dad
yeah.
realized that
Yeah.
he was doing, was just giving me a very unique name for the interweb.
And you have a website too, right?
I do. So it's Ydinemusic.com.
Easy.
Yeah, a lot of pictures of the whole journey, and yeah, I'm so grateful for music. It has been one of the most interesting and blessed journeys in my life.
Right. Me too. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
I guess speaking of art, there's also another piece of art in the album. It's a ship that's sailing in the night with a moon, and there's like piano keys in the water, and the ship is actually a cello. And one of my brilliant friends painted that after he listened to the song, which we were talking about earlier, and sent that to me. Yeah,
Yeah, that's on the CD label.
yeah, it is.
That is quite cool.
It is so cool. Yeah. So just want to, give him the gratefulness for that as well, because that's it. And I have the original now hanging in my house,
Oh,
and
right.
it inspires me every time I look at it. I just love it.
All
His
right.
name's Neil Yukamura. I grew up with him in Connecticut, but he's from Kauai, and we both live in Hawaii now.
Well, great. Well, mahalo for your time today. And I hope we get to see each other in person one day real soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it, Steve. Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay. Thanks for being on Songs and Stories.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thanks for listening to Songs and Stories. You can find episodes on Apple Podcast and listen or download for free. New episodes are available every Thursday. Songs and Stories is produced by Big Island Music Magazine. Find us on the web at bigislandmusic.net. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. I'll see you next week on Songs and Stories. Aloha.
Songs and stories with Steve Roby. All about artists on Hawaii. Learn about the music and backstory on Songs and Stories.